He pumped his fist,
Who cares if he pumped his? Who cares if he pumped his fist? White supremacists pump their fist too. Does that make them a coward?
You would have. Hey, what I wanted to tell you was how Trump is calling military people cowards and John McCain names. That is highly unacceptable, and I agree. What he did was wrong, deeply. However, I don't know if I could call him a coward because, when he got shot, in July 13th, he pumped his fist up.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so X, let's explore that for a moment. What would you call somebody that dodges the military multiple times, making something up that he has bone spurs? What would you call somebody like that?
There's no doubt. I wouldn't want to go to the military either. So,
okay, hold on. That's not. I didn't. Hold on. The question wasn't whether you would want to go to the military. Pay attention to my question, X. What would you call somebody who dodges the military multiple times, lies, and get a doctor to say that he has bone spurs? What would you call that sort of behavior?
That's cowardice.
Thank you. So that's why I call him a coward. You're saying he's not a coward. What has Donald Trump given up in his life? What has he sacrificed? Tell me.
He pumped his fist.
I don't care if he pumps his fist. What has he given up in his life to help others? Tell me.
I mean, he was willing to go to jail to become president.
Did he go to jail?
He was,
What do you mean he was willing to go to jail? He never went to jail. That's not a sacrifice. What has he I'm going to ask you again. What has he sacrificed in his life? Forget about even when he was president. What has this man ever sacrificed in his life? Can you please tell me?
I'm not going to defend him because,
Yes, you are. You're saying he's not a coward. You were praising him for pumping his fist after he allegedly got shot. And by the way, I find it interesting that the day after he allegedly got shot, which, by the way, I don't believe he ever was, he was literally playing golf the next day with no bandage on his ear. And then he wore a big tampon on his ear at the Republican National Convention. So I now ask you for a fourth time, what has this man ever sacrificed in his life?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, that's why he's X. That's why he's a coward. X.
That's what I'm saying. Period.
X. That's why he's a coward, because he never sacrificed anything in his life. He's a terrible father. Hold on. He's a terrible father. X. He's a terrible father. He's a terrible husband. He's a terrible human being, and he dodged the military multiple times. That is not only the definition of a criminal, but it's also the definition of a coward. And you cannot deny that.
To go to the Vietnam War. Who would have wanted to go to Vietnam War? That's what I'm saying.
It's not a matter of whether, listen to me, there's a difference between not wanting to go and then lying about it and dodging it. There's a lot of people that did not want to go, but guess what? They still went. They still went. They still went. Also playing golf. You know what? There's a lot of people that don't want to go to the hospital, but they go anyway because it saves their life. There's a lot of people that don't want to go to war, but they do it because it's their service to the nation. Donald Trump lied and dodged the military. It has nothing to do with whether you want to do something or not, and it has everything to do with whether you do it or not, or whether you lie about it. He is a coward. Why do you keep defending him?
I'm not going to keep defending him.
You sound like you are. Why can't you just say he's a coward?
The Democratic Party's rating is lower than the Donald Trump's. And going to the midterms.
What do ratings have to do?
They're not able to raise money. They're not able to raise money. What I'm saying is, you're so obsessed with biased news. You're so obsessed with highly biased news.
We're not talking about raising money. By the way, Donald Trump has had some of the worst approval ratings in 50 years, okay? I don't care. I don't care what approval ratings say. I don't care. I don't care. Why is it you deflect?
For the next 3 years,
no,
whether you like it or not. I don't like.
I never said he wasn't.
Or not.
I never said he wasn't, but you started this conversation. Hold on a second. You started this conversation by saying he's not a coward. I've given you multiple examples of why he is. Why don't you retract what you just said?
He pumped his fist,
Who cares if he pumped his? Who cares if he pumped his fist? White supremacists pump their fist too. Does that make them a coward?
You would have,
or does that make them a patriot?
What I'm saying is,
what are you saying? Yes.
That's not something that you can pre-plan.
So Klan members pump their fist. Does that make them patriots? Would you salute them as well?
And get Midas touch off your network,
Why do you
man.
keep changing the subject? Wait, hold on a second. X, hold on. So by your definition, if you pump your fist, that makes you some sort of hero?
almost after getting shot, like, stuff like that, like,
Stuff
like,
like
and
that,
almost
like
dying.
after
Like,
getting shot.
He dodged it. Yes.
It amazes me that you continue to defend him, which you're doing right now.
Listen,
It
you can
amazes
deny
me.
all you want. If you don't believe my actions, then wait until the next 4 years, man.
Well, no, I'm not going to wait.
2 years.
I mean, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if you think Donald Trump is some sort of hero, even though he dodged the military, never has been in any type of fight his entire life. He never fought for anything except himself his entire life. But because he raised his fist, somehow that makes him a patriot, X. That makes you an imbecile. Thank you, X. I appreciate your phone call, but that makes you an imbecile. Okay? If a white supremacist raises his fist, does that make him a patriot too? You sound ridiculous. And all you do is make excuses for the orange turd. And quite frankly, it's exhausting, X, and it's pathetic. It really is pathetic. Here you go. I'll pump my fist and say, I hope you get deported to Gaza. Does that make me a patriot? I'm pumping my fist. Holy smokes. Numchuck was pumping his fist as well. So I guess Numchuck is a patriot too.